I'm on the latter opinion. Definitely not of the former, anyways. In the top left, the blue Zerg, it is Serral. In the bottom right is the red Protoss. He is Rail, and he is on the rails. No, I can't do the pun. Bad at puns. He is currently down 0-2 in the round robin is where I'm getting at, alright? He's not looking so hot. Damn it, I didn't actually make that tweet, and I closed the window. Super, 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 super cool. Let's try that again. Serral? Okay. I nailed it. You don't know anything. You notice anything wrong. I didn't forget to tweet. After having literally spent a good 2 minutes on that tweet because I couldn't find Rail's Twitter. That's fine. Alright, so I have not seen any of Rail's games, unfortunately, but I can at least tell you who he lost to. He has lost to Showtime in a PvP, but it was 2-1, and that's where you would think that Rail was going to do well with PvPs. But there's only... well, including him, there's 3 Protoss, so... okay. And then he also lost to a Laser 2-0, so... it's not his PvZ that's particularly good, I suppose. Well, amazing. Serral, as I said kind of prior to this, but in case you're just tuning in because you're like, oh, Serral's on this stream. Yeah, hello, welcome. Oh, very quick forge. Whoa! I think that's one of the quickest forges I've ever seen. In any matchup. Past an expansion, of course. What about a cannon rush? Yeah, we get it. Wow, that's usually your second tech. You know, I've seen maybe like Robo or Twilight and then Forge, right? Like, but, ooh, okay. That's gonna be a supremely fast +1. We also been seeing, oh shit, faster forges in PvP, and that kind of gives an interesting, I mean, much faster +2 attack, and then also gives you the ability to make cannons and those, some of the new and improved PvP attacks, but this is, I guess, maybe gonna go into a Robo? And then you attack with Robo Sentry. I don't know, I'm gonna hold off on this one. But thank you, X-Force P, for all of those subs. Damn, son. Thank you very much. 20 gifted subs. Total of 45 on this channel. Make sure to give them love if you got one of those. Uh-oh, we're gonna be in resub hell here. Oh my god. Quick, change it!
New subscription received. Class 2 access granted. Enjoy your stay.
Actually. Okay, is anything important happening? He does go into a Robo. I don't mind it as much when it's just the robot talking. I guess it's okay. We'll live with it. Thank you very much, X1P. I don't mean to make it sound like you did something wrong. Luckily, this is happening during kind of the less actiony parts of things. We have that early sentry doing the early Lucid Phoenix. Serral is doing what Serral does best with these lings all around, trying to get a scout, whereas Overlord cannot. We are on a map where it can be a little difficult to get to the natural gases. Some other maps, they're up here, for instance, very easy. Both are taken, but Serral is more so paying attention to his lings. So if a War Prism were to fly out, he kind of know about the based off the timing, what that could be. You know, Archon drop or something. He didn't see an Oracle fly over, so he knows it's not a Stargate. I don't want to say, like, try this at home, guys. Definitely don't. You will die to something stupid. But if you're Serral, then I strongly believe that he can read off of just these lings scouting. He's going for a few roaches here, which we saw Laser do. I think it is just defensive because he doesn't actually know what's going on. We're gonna wait for the next round of drones, and I think Serral's also waiting for some more confirmation. No, he's waiting for an Overlord. My bad. There we go. So he uses his larva, makes drones, Evolution Chamber now on the way. He has protected himself against the Spore Crawler or perhaps a DT by having a single Spore Crawler in the main. You know, you can move that around if it is DTs, another portion of the map. And his lair was, I mean, just a little bit faster than 4 minutes, I believe, so he has an Overseer already on the way. His Lings finally get this result. They finally scout something, so they saw the army, just 2 sentries, most else, and then they also saw the 3rd Nexus, which was real. Okay, you didn't actually see that it's taken. Wanna go ahead and dip in there and actually see that's taken? I would check. Okay, there we go. I mean, it's like a little scary when you just see the probe and the army move out. They could be faking it out. Okay, so Rail did go into just the, like he's gonna have the super great upgrades. That's fantastic. He didn't go into any, like, push, though, and when I said push, I did mean more of those, like, you know, oh, I got a sentry and a couple of immortals, like, oh, fear me, but they don't actually want to do anything. But he doesn't even do that. He doesn't get a War Prism, he didn't go for some harassment here. He's gonna have really good upgrades, a rather strong economy, perfectly fine, normal 3rd timing, right? I'm gonna add on the Temple Archives as well as that Robo.
Subscription received. Class 2 access granted. Enjoy your stay.
Infestation Pit is now on the way. What the hell is this placement? What the flippin' placement? Why would you put an Infestation Pit there? Okay, well, I guess it won't matter. He has a creep spray kind of far out. Oh, thank God. Oh, no, it's still going. I was gonna say, I was just about ready to be tired of hearing that sub-alert. Oh, that's the last one. Woo, we did it! We survived, y'all. Okay, look how fast this +3 is, guys. My lord. That's not +3. There we go. That is... Gee willikers, wowzers, fast. So, Serral pro gamers will click on units to see what the upgrades are. He was probably more so looking for the timing of the +1, but saw that it was already +2 or something along those lines, and was like, oh, geez. But I think it's actually a really good plan. I don't know if this is a direct counter, you know, results of him seeing how fast the upgrades are, as much as it is just, you know, wanting to play the Swarm Host style, but Swarm Hosts, I feel like, kind of don't care if your upgrades are really good. The point is, you didn't do anything offensive, aggressive, you didn't take any map control when you did this type of build here, and whether, regardless of the fast forward or not, like, you're just playing defensively without a War Prism, without any attack in the mid game, right? So I like Swarm Hosts in this type of game, but if Rail is to defend against 1 or 2 Swarm Host attacks rather nicely and then move out on the map, that's when Swarm Hosts start to be a little suspicious. You know, they don't have the Locust ready to go, and then suddenly the tides do turn. But Serral is controlling the game so far. Rail is trying to respond as decently as possible, and his upgrades are going to be amazing. They will help take out the Locust. They will definitely help take out the Roaches and the Ravagers. But as we can see, some of his units, actually a lot of his units there, a lot of the sentries just went down despite the War Prism being on top. We have a lot of probes going down in the main base, it looks like, or the natural actually was killed, and then the transfer of probes means that Serral is basically all in. And while the initial defense wasn't perhaps that bad, we are still talking about free units for whatever Protoss makes. It's more expensive than free, isn't it? His +3 is finishing up here, but another Locust Wave comes in. He doesn't have the minerals to go for a big warp in. He doesn't have storms to help out against the Locust. The Archons barely count a splash here, and this is just Serral's game written all over it. It's done. GG. Rail taps out, and Serral will take the first game in this series, but it was only game number 1. I figured that, I mean, Serral doesn't really play Swarm Host that often, right? I would say in general, Zerg players, like, you know, we're talking about percentages, throw out a number here, 30% of their games are Swarm Host or something. It happens, but not the super most common thing, and I'm wondering if Rail just figured Serral wouldn't be the type to do it. Even though he got Hallucinated Phoenix out scouting multiple times, he wasn't really, it seemed, in a position to do anything about it, even if he saw it was going to be Swarm Hosts. So they were able to start their Locusts, you know, as soon as possible without having to worry about whatever else going on. And I don't know, I don't want to say Robo builds styles, right? You're really just pumping out Robos, and that's kind of your game plan is bad against Swarm Hosts, but it does seem to struggle if you're not going to get a War Prism. if you're not going to have those storms, force fields, try and buy time. Yeah. I liked it against that. And as such, I feel validated now. Thanks, Serral, for winning that game. So next map's going to be Year Zero. Oh, right, Serral. Serral doesn't want to be my friend. The infestation pit is for the creep spread? Buildings don't cause more creep spread. I think he just had a drone there. It's like, here, place it. Oh, Serral has to be in the slot there. Okay, we got the right races. We got everyone in here. Let's do this. Game number 2 on Year Zero. Coming at ya. Dun, dun. In the upper left on Year Zero, it is the blue Protoss Rail. And it's up right as the red Zerg, it is Serral. Also getting follower bombed, which I don't mind, but temporarily disable that. So, Serral looking pretty strong in that first game, I'd say. I really wonder what Rail's attack looks like against someone who's just going like Roach Hydra. Which, he did see nothing but Roach Ravager, right, until Infestation Pit and the Swarm Hosts, which, you know, first Locust doesn't do well, he has a Warp Prism already ready to go, and he moves out, maybe it's a different story, but kind of the second Locust Wave came in as he moved out, he wasn't as well prepared to deal with the Roach Ravager as it looked. And he was pushed back in, as well as lost his Nexus, and it just, I mean, as soon as he tried to push out, it went really, really poorly, so it's tough. If you don't already have some sort of threatening move out, or units, or vision of, I guess, where exactly the Locusts are coming from, you're right, like, it's gonna be tough fighting the wave of Locusts. Thank you, Rick Bands, for the 100 bits. Beep boop. Now, Year Zero could be a very long game, and I was just talking about how Serral might have some weaknesses. I mean, I think we're getting close to the point. If he loses to another Terran in the late game, I think we can kind of say, like, for a fact that is his weakest part of StarCraft, is late game versus Terran. I don't really fear his late game versus Protoss, as in I'm not afraid he'll lose it. I think he'll win, and not just because Rail might not be having the best day, but because I think he's just generally good. On that subject, though, Rail is apparently having kind of a bad couple of weeks. He's been traveling so much, along with everyone else, right? But, you know, still, lack of preparation affects people in different ways. That he just generally felt he wasn't going to be in good shape. But apparently he said that Serral was the most beatable Zerg for him because he's standard and doesn't abuse the Nidus Worm. I get that, I do. I understand that thought process, but it's not looking so great right now. As game number 1 was a bit of a boppin'. Not much happens that was in Rail's favor. And you can thank Fear Dragon, by the way. He talked to all the players and collected some brief notes on their opinions on all of the matchups in the round robin. Very cool of him. Stargate opener this time for Rail. No super fast forge. And it is going to be right into a Phoenix. So Serral, right, relies kind of on those lings in like 30 seconds to see what's going on. But in this case, he does have an Overlord just right there, just seeing everything. So you do see the silhouette of a Phoenix, and it's gonna pop out and kill your Overlord anyways. Then you can see it's the second Phoenix. He might just miss the Twilight Council though. It's way in the back there. Phoenix is gonna take a little while to kill the Overlord. This could be close. Oh, the race. Oh, the race is on. Taking bets. Oh, it's gonna see it. There you go. Wasn't even really that close. That kind of right on top of it. Good scout, good scout. Robo's also going down though in the natural, which I believe that's what the Overlord ended up missing. And maybe that's a little scary. These do usually come down around the same time if you're gonna play into, well, not like a super big Resident Glaive, a Depth all in, or a Charge all in. Well, you actually get a Warp Prism with the Charge all in. But okay, so you would want a follow-up scout for sure. You would want to see if there's a Warp Prism, and then maybe you would either suspect Charge lots in the Warp Prism, which some Protoss were doing, or you would suspect what kind of follows it up, usually an Archon drop. But this is everything at once. This is Charge, Archons, as well as a ton of gateways, and that Warp Prism is on the way out now. So this is how it's going to be difficult for Serral to scout just based off of those lings. If you saw how many gateways were down on 2 bases already, he'd be, you know, really prepared to start making units. He probably would slap down a Roach Warren. Okay, he already has one, but he'd start making Roaches. And he might make a few Roaches very soon, just kind of like, okay, I'm not quite sure what you're doing, but maybe not. Maybe he still thinks that it's going to be just into a 3rd base, and it is a 3rd base, but Rail's not going to be producing many more probes for a little while here, as it is going to be all about the Warp-ins. Gets the Warp-ins in the main base to start the Archon harassment, and then you can go ahead and add on the Charge lots to this attack. If you don't already have Roaches, it might be a struggle to overcome the snowball effect, but we do have those Roaches already on the way. And actually, Zealots and Adepts going to what could be the 3rd base down here. I think he knows about the 3rd base up there. Yeah, I saw the creep spread. But either way, like, if they pair up with the Archons or they attack some other base, this is going to be maybe a little difficult for Serral to defend. He is building drones. Queen's right on top of that Warp Prism, which is nice, but not enough. And he is going to go ahead and warp in with the Archons. Attack from behind coming in too. Maybe to stop those Roaches from being able to retreat. Serral maybe a little too late to the Roach production. He was trying to get drones. He was trying to get a Spire. He was trying to get all of his upgrades. Now throwing a Spine Crawler, but getting a little bit duped. Maybe another Charge of Warp Wind is probably going to happen soon, and the Warp Prism can also help kind of ferry over the Archons, or even just save their lives if they start to get low. Serral desperately trying to micro against his 12 Roaches on the way. I think he might have about enough time to defend against this. He hasn't lost too many drones either, so if he keeps the drone count and defends this, he will be in a fantastic position, as Rail has still not started any probes by having a 3rd base. Those Roaches starting to pour out here. Spine Crawlers have been finished. I thought he finished at least one. Okay, maybe I'm blind, but he's definitely building them, and they will finish. +1 missile. I mean, if he continues dodging and weaving like this, maybe +1 missile will even start to affect this game, but that's so many charges. That's up to 4 Archons as well. Warp Prism, just no way of taking that out. He doesn't have time, really, or the resources, perhaps, to buy into Ravagers. He has resources, but he doesn't have the time. The Ravagers might be useful, but it's, you know, it'd really only be useful for the Warp Prism. They can't really help out that much against Charge lots. Sentries even being added in. This is still very, very scary. Serral would want more than a 4 army supply lead. He would want something like 30 or 40. Right now, he's just trying to abuse the surround that he could maybe have up here, but Rail finally decides to go up the ramp. Nope, nope, nope. decides not to. I feel like if he goes up the ramp, he's perfectly fine. Okay, now this is where Ravagers would be helpful. He realizes he's gonna have to maybe break force fields on either ramp, so he makes a couple. And yes, they maybe could help out in the direct fight. Some force fields do come down. Unfortunately, even though the Corrosive Bile is trying to break through, he has to retreat to the bottom side, but at least he retreats. Saves a handful of roaches right there when they would usually just straight up be dead. +1 missile did finish, and now he has that 30 armor supply, looking a little more confident against this all in. Rail has started to produce more probes, up to 49, but no storm, no immortal production quite yet. He would be weak, perhaps, in the mid-game, the late game. Spinecrawlers are on the front lines, but they are done. Attack to the right side. He's actually letting his units attack into this, and I don't think he should. So much of his army is actually on the left side, and Rail just taps out, spending too much time dancing around that middle.